The old farmhouse stood at the edge of Fallow Ridge, its windows staring blankly over the long stretch of empty fields. It was the kind of place the wind never seemed to leave, whistling through cracked wood and hollow rooms like a restless spirit. No one had lived there for years. Not since Ethan Ward vanished one autumn night without a trace, but locals still whispered about him. About Lena Hale. About what happened in that house. Ethan came to Fallow Ridge in early spring, a young man with charm, easy smiles, and a story no one questioned. He said he was fixing up the farmhouse, planning to turn it into a bed and breakfast. He met Lena at the hardware store. She worked there part-time while finishing her photography degree. Bright, curious, and trusting Lena was drawn to him instantly. Ethan made her laugh, told her she saw the world differently, called her his muse. For weeks, they met by the lake at dusk. He spoke about traveling, about starting over, but every story he told had small cracks, little gaps that never quite fit. Lena noticed, but she wanted to believe in him. It was easier than believing she was just another part of his story. By midsummer, Lena had moved some of her things into the farmhouse. The two of them spent days sanding the floors, painting walls, and talking about the future. But Ethan was changing. Tired, distracted. His temper soared. Then one evening, the town heard the sirens. A neighbor reported seeing Lena's car parked outside the farmhouse for days, but no one answered the door. When the sheriff broke in, the house was empty, tools scattered, coffee still warm in a mug, a camera lying broken near the stairs. No blood, no sign of struggle, just gone. Ethan told everyone Lena had left town after an argument, that she needed time. He said it with such calmness that most people almost believed him. Months passed. Ethan stayed. He said he couldn't leave yet, too many memories. But the truth was, he couldn't. Because at night, the house spoke. He'd wake to the faint sound of footsteps on the stairs, a camera shutter clicking in the dark, the smell of Lena's favorite jasmine perfume drifting through the halls. Sometimes he'd find muddy footprints on the kitchen floor in the shape of bare feet. He told himself it was his imagination, or the old house settling. But one night, he heard a voice. "Why'd you lie to me, Ethan?" He froze. It came from the back of the house D parlor, where Lena used to set up her photographs. When he went there, her camera was sitting on the table, a single photograph lying beside it. It was a picture of him, taken that day, from behind. Asutum kame. Ethan started seeing her reflection in the mirrors, just a blur at first, then sharper each time. Sometimes she was behind him, watching. Sometimes she was standing in the fields, her hair moving with the wind. He stopped going outside. He stopped answering calls. The house grew colder, but he refused to light the fireplace. The silence between the creaks grew unbearable, like the air itself was waiting for him to confess. He started talking to her picture, whispering apologies he didn't understand. "I didn't mean for it to go that far," he'd say, his hands shaking. "You wouldn't stop asking questions." The floorboards groaned in reply. One night in November, the sheriff came to check on him. No one had seen Ethan for weeks. The door was unlocked, swaying in the wind. The house was dark, but the air smelled like damp soil and old perfume. The sheriff found a camera on the floor. Inside, it was a new roll of film. He developed the photos later that night. Each picture showed the same thing: Ethan sitting at the kitchen table, his face pale, his eyes staring off camera. In the last photo, a figure stood behind him, a woman in a white dress, her expression unreadable. The farmhouse has remained empty ever since. Locals say lights still flicker there at night, and if you stand close enough to the porch, you can hear the soft click of a camera shutter. A few teenagers tried to break in one Halloween. They said they heard someone crying upstairs. When they turned around, every door in the house slammed shut at once. They ran. No one's been brave enough to return. Some say Ethan's still there, sitting at the kitchen table, whispering to the ghost he created. Others say it's Lena, who never left still, searching for truth, her spirit bound to the lies that took her life. And if you listen closely on windy nights, you might hear her whisper through the fields. A picture never lies, but you did.